Yes, yes, yes. Mohamed Salah has done it. He has committed his future to Liverpool Football Club. 2 more years of the Egyptian king at Anfield, the best player in the Premier League this season, one of the best players in the Premier League of all time, arguably the best player on the planet right now, and he's going to stay in red for another couple of years. Joyous day. Massive outpourings of happiness around social media, and I would guess just the buzz around Liverpool as well. There's going to be a lot of people in newsagents and supermarkets chatting with the postman and all that kind of stuff today, of just people being very, very happy indeed. Obviously, the contract stuff has been ongoing, rumbling on and on and on incessantly for a long time now, and for the longest time it looked very much like Salah wasn't going to be staying at Liverpool. There was a time in all of this when, in terms of like the balance of probabilities, they were almost flipped from what they've ended up being. Trent seeming the most likely, then Van Dijk, then Salah. It looks like it's going to be Salah and Van Dijk, but I'm going to focus on Salah specifically in this video because, yeah, when you go and commit one of the best players on the planet to stay at your football club, it definitely requires attention, and, you know, in turn, so will Van Dijk, because he is that as well. But what we've done, you know, is very astute business in a number of ways, and it does make you wonder why. If it's astute business now, why wasn't it astute business earlier on in the season? I have a small theory on that, for what it's worth. But just in terms of the numbers of what we're looking at, you know, right now, Mo Salah, top goal scorer in the Premier League, and he's got the most assists in the Premier League this season as well. He's on course for the best individual Premier League season of all time in terms of that goal and assist output, and he's also on track to lift the Premier League title for the first time with fans in the ground as well, which is going to be a thing. If you haven't seen already, by the way, the biggest party in the history of this city is coming the final weekend of the Premier League season. That is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with hopefully a parade to follow on the Monday called the Red Weekender. We are booked in for that. We are going to be on stage, the Red Men TV, with some very, very, very special guests. The Anfield rapper involved, Boss Night are involved as well. So it is, I mean, I'm made up to be alongside Boss Night, and we've known the rap lads a very long time indeed. You know, to have the sort of 3 of the biggest in the industry come together. Boss, there were a couple of names announced early doors on this as well. I think it was yesterday that went out. The full lineup hasn't been revealed just yet because there are some big surprises still to come. But yeah, Kenny Dalglish, Rafa Benitez, the Lightning Seeds and the Zootons so far alongside us, the Rap and Boss Night. Yeah, theredweekender.com. Ticket details will follow, but head over to theredweekender.com for more info on that. Anyway, listen, yes, the title. Mo Salah's going to win the Premier League title, and everyone's going to be there to celebrate and have the best time of their absolute lives. But in terms of, yeah, what it means for him, really interesting to see, because we've been doing live show tours this year for the last 12 months or so, just over. And we've been having conversations around the Premier League Mount Rushmore and who's on it. And for me, Alan Shearer there's no conversation. Alan Shearer goes straight on there, the all-time Premier League top goal scorer. Then we've had a little bit of and ahhing, but I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, Thierry Henry has to be on there as well. And then after that, you get into some sort of murky territory, really. There's a bunch of footballers who I think can stake a strong claim. I think Wayne Rooney stakes a very, very strong claim. I think Steven Gerrard stakes that claim. I think Frank Lampard stakes that claim as well. But for me, I think Salah's on there, and I think there is something about being one of the forward line players, you know, in terms of just raw output, goals and assists. If he's not already in consideration for it, what this contract does is it gives Salah definitively not just the numbers, but the longevity as well. So yeah, a contract extension at Liverpool, hopefully a Liverpool side that's going to be competitive in the next coming years with him in it, and probably because he's in it, means that, yeah, he gets to establish himself as one of the all-time Premier League legends, you know, the league that's been the dominant force in European football. For a number of years, the biggest league, the most expensive league, the fastest league, the league everyone wants to play in, etc., etc. And yeah, I think Salah, if he's not already on the Mount Rushmore of Premier League legends, he certainly will be by the time this next contract comes to an end. So very, very smart. And circling back to the Alan Shearer thing, 260 Premier League goals Alan Shearer's got. He is the all-time Premier League top goal scorer. Mo Salah currently sits on 184. 76 goals. Now, that's a lot of goals. Let's make it perfectly clear. That is a lot of goals. He would need to average over 3 years. I think that's 76 goals. So 23. Fast math. It's always been my strong point. Anyone who's ever watched me with anything will know math. Me and math. Best buds. Yes, 25.3 recurring, I think, in his goals a season. It's much more over a 2 year. But look, there's a conversation to be had in 2 years. If Mo Salah, everyone keeps saying, look how fit he is. Look at his abs. Look at his abs. If he continues that level of dedication and fitness, I think he's already lost the killer yards of pace. But what he's gained is creativity in its place. If he doesn't slow down, there's a conversation in a year's time for another year extension, or in 2 years' time to put another year on top of that. 3 years seemed impossible 2 months ago, a week ago, whatever. Now it doesn't seem outside the realms of possibility. He's given himself that wiggle room, and so Liverpool as well. I just wonder. Everyone's talked about Harry Kane, and Harry Kane's on 213. That is very much in Salah's sights. That's like one more season like this, basically, away from that. 2 years, I would bank on Salah to overtake Harry Kane pretty easily. So yeah, and Wayne Rooney as well. I think he's on 20. I've got it in front of me. Why am I even pretending I don't have it in front of me? Wayne Rooney, 208. There we go. To save my memory, I had it in front of me and then forgot that I had it in front of me. It's literally, it's on an iPad. It's a big iPad as well. Yeah, Rooney's definitely in his sights. Kane is definitely in his sights. Shearer is asking a lot. Let me know in the comments underneath. Do you think it's possible? Can Mo Salah become the all-time Premier League top goal scorer? And if not, where do you think that he can get to? As a random aside, in terms of all-time Premier League assists, and I will need to consult the iPad for that, he's 10th on the all-time list of all-time assists in the Premier League, behind James Milner, which is funnily enough. He's on 86. The top is Ryan Giggs on 162, that feels like a stretch, but maybe, you never know, maybe the goals will go and the assists will go up. That feels a stretch. But Kevin De Bruyne is second on 118. That feels within shooting distance of a 2-year contract as well. So, yeah, why not Mo Salah shoot for the moon? The other one, obviously, is the Liverpool all-time top goal scorer as well. Ian Rush has got 346 in terms of Liverpool goals. Salah's on 243 at the moment. I would be stunned if he got to that. Of course, that is all comps goals though, and not Premier League goals. So, hey, listen, if he scores 50 a season, all comps for the next 2 years, he would be 3 short of Ian Rush. Again, it's a stretch, but why not? You know what? No one rises to low expectations, and no one sets a higher bar of expectation for themselves than Mohamed Salah. So who knows? Who will be in his sights is Roger Hunt. Roger Hunt is second on 285. That is, 42 away from Salah right now. Again, get your eyes on that, Mo. He's already overtaken Gordon Hodgson, Billy Little and Steven Gerrard. So yeah, as far as the Mount Rushmore of Liverpool goes, it's Kenny Dalglish, without a doubt, no conversations asked. It's Ian Rush, it's Steven Gerrard. I would argue putting Ian Callaghan on there because he's the record appearance holder for Liverpool. And then, is it Mo Salah? Is it Mo Salah right up there as well? If not, again, probably by the time he leaves. This is brilliant news. I think particularly because it feels like Liverpool are losing a little bit of momentum, 1 win in 4 in all competitions as it stands. Okay, 11 points clear at the top of the Premier League, and Arsenal very much in the mix for the Champions League, which, as much as I kind of wanted Madrid to smash them, that isn't outside the realms of possibility to burn about, by the way. But I'm not against Arsenal having that additional distraction as long as they don't go and win it. yeah, it's not the end of it. I think PSG getting that good lead against Villa, I was worried for that brief moment when Villa took the lead that what if they shock PSG? Because I think if Villa got past PSG, I think it's almost Arsenal's to lose. But PSG being in will remain, makes that competition, and obviously Barcelona as well. I keep forgetting Barcelona, but that competition remains very competitive, which means Arsenal will have to really, really continue to pour energies into it, which should give us slightly more of a free run. But regardless, Liverpool's still they're not playing Arsenal apart from that one game we've got against them. And like everyone, I think, would like it to be shown up by then, or it to be pretty academic by that point at least. So yeah, Liverpool have got to get on with beating the teams that they actually have to play, starting with West Ham at the weekend. And I can't see how this does anything but give it a boost. It does swing back around to the other point, and like why now? Why is it taking so long? I do think Trent's contract has been an issue in this, because I think if you're giving guys with 32, 33 years old the top contracts at the club, Trent, who is in the prime of his career and is due one of those contracts, it does make those negotiations slightly more difficult, sure. But also, it's funny because there's been so much sort of slander around Richard Hughes and even a little bit to Arne Slot, and then even going back to Jurgen Klopp and the previous directors of football. And I think the mess in Liverpool's director of football department is the primary cause of how Liverpool have got here. Just not having a firm hand on the reins in terms of the football operations. We've had 3 directors of football in the last 3 years, 3.5, 4. It's too many for stability. So it's left Liverpool it left Liverpool's incoming director of football with just the most ridiculously oversized inbox, the biggest, most pressure-filled inbox that anyone's ever had in that job. And bear in mind, Liverpool haven't had a director of football for that long, but it was a huge amount of work that he's inherited. Trent feels like a loss still to me to not get him over the line. And look, by all accounts, that's not a monetary thing. He's been offered the big contract. It does feel like Madrid is just where his head has been turned to, where his heart has been turned to as well. I know there's still members of his family who believed that he was going to stay. So that's clearly, something that's been a bit of a live situation, or certainly something he's kept close to his chest. Whatever, it's a different issue. I've talked about it before, and I'm sure it'll come up again when the dust settles on this season and we get to take stock of it all. That will be an interesting discussion point. But I think that has had an impact, if nothing else. The other interesting thing is whether there's any sort of tactical element to this, because one of the questions I asked, and I'll ask you guys this as well, would Salah have played better this season if he'd been given his contract earlier on this season? Now, of course, it's impossible to know, but I'm just interested in your general thoughts on it, because he's having the best season anyone's ever had as a Premier League player. So was there more to come out of it, or was there some kind of added motivation in go and play for it, mate? If you think everyone's saying you're on the way out, mate, look, the fans are saying it, the media are saying it. I've got some data here. Look, you missed a lot of games at the end of last season through injury, and then your form just didn't return, Mo. Have we had the best out of you? And he's gone, no chance. Look at these abs. And then basically he's just pulled out one of the all-time, if not the all-time great Premier League seasons. So if that's the level, Michael Edwards was back and all we ever did was consider like him the master of 4D chess. If he's even just had a sprinkling on this, then I would call that one of his finer, the greatest masterclass in contract renegotiations of all time. I don't know. It's a bit of a silly point. It's an unprovable point, but it is an interesting thought experiment, if nothing else. And the kind of same goes for Virgil van Dijk. He's got everything that a centre-half could ask for. He's probably, if he's not the best paid centre-half in world football, he's very competitive. He's the captain of the football team, settled, he loves the city, the fans love him, he's got a lot going for him. And yeah, he's also then, in an age where people think in your 30s you should be winding down, he's putting in seasons like this. Just terrific. And look, the ultimate best outcome of all of this is you keep these players, because there's no one on the market better than either of them. So you let them go and you save yourself a good old wedge on your wage bill. good opportunity maybe to reset and reboot. And I'll be honest, because I try not to have a fixed opinion on these things because they're so malleable, and you never truly know what's going on. There are only a handful of people in the world who ever really know the inside scoop on these things. Journalists don't know, fans don't know, family members often don't know, even close to the players, even agents. And there's always the people who have pieces of the puzzle, but very rarely someone who sees the whole sort of puzzle. So yeah, it's an ongoing sort of thing. I was, I guess, psychologically gearing myself up for a big reset this summer, but that had me really worried, because as much as I believe in Michael Edwards, and he's hired Hughes and Hughes has hired Slot, and Slot's been doing the business, and I trust Michael Edwards because of his track record at the club. It's a big ask to replace players of that quality. I did a video years ago on Barcelona and the crappening, and how all of a sudden there's a lot of second choice players as first choice in your team, and you can't quite work out why you're not as good, because ultimately it's very difficult to find players of that kind of quality. So you should hang on to your best ones for as long as you can and pay them what it takes to keep them, and then your wage bill rises accordingly and you stay competitive at the top. Liverpool have done that. It might be the wrong decision. We might see Salah and Van Dijk start to drift, but right now, until you can say to me, someone there that's within our affordability is going to do at least what they're going to do, you put it into a bit of the lap of the gods. So you can go and buy guys that are statistic fit. They might fit a model, but they've still got to come in and maybe adapt to the league, or maybe they've got to see how they fit with the manager, or do they fit in with the ethos of the group, or the city, or all loads of factors that can take potentially brilliant footballers and have them not work out for you. Ian Graham did a brilliant bit on his book on this, because obviously he was head of data at Liverpool for the longest time, and basically was how you work out that like 50% is a successful transfer hit rate because of how many mitigating circumstances there are. Anyway, it's a long-winded way of saying, if you tie up Van Dijk and you tie up Salah, it's just two less problems to deal with this summer. Liverpool need to go and buy more goals and more creativity and a couple more bodies here and there. They probably need a refresh at left back. They're almost certainly now going to have to go out and buy a right back to compete with Conor Bradley, because there was a little thing of maybe Jarell Quansah can do a bit there, and certainly as a break glass solution. But the fact that Curtis Jones has been playing there says to me Slot wants a better footballer, a more comfortable on the ball player in there. So Conor Bradley plus another. You're going to need, I think, maybe to future plan a bit at centre half as well. Definitely another quality midfielder to come in and compete with Ryan Gravenberch at least. And your goals, Darwin Núñez hasn't really cut it. He got better for his first two seasons. It hasn't worked for him this year at all. Question marks over Jota's fitness. Question marks over the overall goal scoring output of the likes of Gakpo and Diaz. So yeah, Liverpool need a really, really, really good player, I think, for the front three. What you didn't want is to be losing your best goal scorer and your top assister, and actually this stunningly creative player at right back, and then a stunningly creative centre half as well, best in class. And in addition to things I've just mentioned, that would have been absolute lunacy. So as much as giving new contracts to older players is a gamble, there is a certain element of risk that comes with it. We've seen it happen, and we've seen it work. And also Liverpool have had a tremendous track record of letting players go at the right time, by the way. One last thing on that in a second. Yeah, kicking it down the line a little bit is no bad thing. If those players start to flounder, you've got the opportunity now to recoup something for them. And even then, if you don't, 2 more years from where we're at now, I hope we're not sat here in 2 more years going, what are they doing not giving them new contracts? At some point, all good things come to an end. But if Liverpool have decided to keep them, then I think some smart people have come to that decision, because look at the players who they've let go. Sadio Mane, I was a bit, we got a fee for Sadio Mane as well, by the way. Firmino, we let go. They still thought maybe we could have got more. I'd have kept Firmino around for another year or two, just on a dwindling sort of role. Gini Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Jordan Henderson. Obviously, Joel Matip had an injury, but even again, I was like, well, he'll come back from that injury. Just sign him down to a new contract, keep him as your 4th or 5th choice centre half. No room for sentiment in that. And the best thing is, as much as we love those footballers, none of them has gone on to have more, or to even maintain the level they were at Liverpool. So it, as much as it felt raw and it felt weird and hard to see that was go at the time, and particularly some on free transfers as well, felt like bad business. yeah, let players lose their legs on other people's wage budgets is basically been the Liverpool mantra that I think it might have been Bob Paisley, and I'm paraphrasing it heavily. So yeah, an interesting decision to be taken. But what Liverpool have done from that Champions League winning team, they've basically kept the truly best of the best, not just in terms of football talent, but in terms of fitness and longevity as well, and players who've got more above and beyond just doing the basic actions of football. We've kept a guy who is a captain. We've kept a guy who is a global superstar as well as all those things in Van Dijk and Salah. So yeah, feels good, feels shrewd, feels like it gives Liverpool a real base to attack the rest of the season in terms of optimism, something for the fans to get behind and really start singing their names a little bit louder as well for that extra sort of boost in the ground. And yeah, in terms of a position of strength for the summer transfer market, good. Very, very good indeed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section underneath. Couple of things. There is a sale on our Mo Salah t-shirt, the one designed and painted originally by Abby Rudkin, is 20% off on the Redmen merch store right now. So if you want to celebrate the Egyptian king, come along in that t-shirt to the Red Weekender as well. And if you want half price off an entire year of Redmen Plus, use the code Maych on a Captain yearly subscription. Fill your boots, because with Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, a year from now, we're probably going to be in the hunt for another Premier League and the Champions League as well. So yeah, head to theredweekender.com and sign up for details of tickets. Hopefully next week we'll have more on that. Get yourself an Abby Rubkin Mo Salah t-shirt and head over to Redmen Plus to get more incredible Liverpool content for the next year for half price. Nice one. Well done, Liverpool. Well done, the Egyptian king. And yeah, see you all soon. Nice one.